happy morning mga ka-forever! Maganda ang sikat ni Haring Araw sa labas, kaya smile lang today and everyday. Whatever the weather is outside, nandito lang kami kasi tayo ang magka-forever. Kaya kapit lang, maghawak kamay tayo at mag-online lang. Because forever starts now. Nood lang kayo as we provide you with updated weather information and relevant science and technology news. Hatakin ang mga pamilya at kaibigan at manood na ng DOSTv. Ako po si Jel Miranda, ang inyong bagong ka-online, ka-forever at ka-weather host for the day. Welcome to DOSTv, your newest and most comprehensive real-time authority on the latest weather updates. Dahil weather lang ang laging nandyan, tag-araw man o tag-ulan, hindi nang iiwan kahit sino ka man. Remember that folks, it's DOSTv, reporting live from Pag-asa Weather and Flood Forecasting Center. Ang DOSTv ay mapapanood ninyo Mondays to Fridays, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Dito lang sa www.dostv.ph. At live na rin po tayo sa Facebook at facebook.com/DOSTVPH. Kaya makisabay na rin sa live streaming namin. And for today's episode, we will feature PNRI at ang future na naghihintay sa nuclear science ng bansa. Kaya na kaya nating maging ka-level ang nuclear power ng ibang bansa? Malalaman natin yan mamaya. At andyan din ang pampachill lang natin to make things light, ang What's the Weather with You. Kaya kayo dyan mga ka-forever, umakting na at mag-emote. Ibuhos na parang ulan ang mga emosyon at i-post na sa social media page ninyo. At sa atin naman docu, matutunghayan natin kung paano natulungan ang isang komunidad gamit ang isang teknolohiya na hatid ng DOST. All this and more dito lang sa DOSTv. And to start things rolling, heto ng ating Pag-asa correspondent, Mr. Benison Estareja. Sir Benison, kumusta po ang magiging lagay ng panahon?
Maraming salamat, Miss Jel. Good morning sa iyo at good morning din sa ating mga viewers ng DOSTv. Ngayong araw po ng Huwebes, asahan pa rin natin sa buong bansa ang maaliwalas sa panahon. Dulot po yan ng ridge or extension ng isang high pressure area dito sa may parteng Luzon. So asahan po natin sa buong bansa ang bahagyang maulap hanggang sa maulap na kalangitan na may mga tsansa pa rin ng pagulan or pagkidlat, pagkulog, usually sa dakong hapon hanggang sa gabi. Base po sa ating latest Himawari image ngayong umaga, kung mapapansin po natin, maaliwalas naman ang panahon sa malaking bahagi ng bansa, whereas bahagyang maulap naman na kalangitan ng nararanasan dito sa may Central Luzon, Calabarzon, dito rin sa Metro Manila, at ilang bahagi rin ng Visayas and Mindanao. In general naman po, sa umaga hanggang sa tanghali, maaliwalas ang panahon. Ibig sabihin, pagdating po ng tanghali, magiging mainit pa rin at maalinsangan yung ating mararanasan. Pero sa dakong hapon or gabi, asahan naman ng bahagyang maulap hanggang sa maulap na kalangitan at hindi pa rin po mawawala ang tsansa ng mga pagulan or pagkidlat, pagkulog na usually ay isolated cases lamang, nangyayari sa maliliit na lugar at hindi po nagtatagal ng 2 oras. And ang binabantayan po natin, meron tayong mga cloud clusters dito sa may West Philippine Sea at maging sa silangang bahagi ng Mindanao. Pero sa ngayon ay mababa naman po ang tsansa na ito ay maging isang LPA or low pressure area. In fact, today in the next 3 days naman po ay wala tayong aasahan sama ng panahon, low pressure area or bagyo man sa loob ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Ang temperature po natin sa Metro Manila ngayong araw, 25 hanggang 34 degrees Celsius. Sa Baguio City naman, medyo malamig pa rin, 16 hanggang 25 degrees. Sa Tagaytay, ganun din, 22 hanggang 29 degrees Celsius, medyo malamig po yan. Habang sa Puerto Princesa naman, 26 hanggang 33 degrees Celsius. Dito po sa may parting Visayas, sa Iloilo and sa Bacolod, 25 hanggang 33 degrees. Habang sa Metro Cebu naman, 25 hanggang 32 degrees Celsius. And finally, dito po sa may Mindanao, sa Metro Davao, 25 hanggang 33 degrees Celsius. At dito naman sa Zamboanga, bahagyang mainit, 25 hanggang 34 degrees Celsius. Good news din po sa ating mga kababayan na naglalayag dahil wala naman po tayong gale warning. Banayad hanggang katamtaman ng pag-alon ng ating mga karagatan, maaari naman po kayong maglayag sa anumang baybayin ng ating bansa. Yan muna ang latest mula dito sa Weather Forecasting Center ng DOST Pag-asa. Ako po si Benison Estareja, reporting for DOSTv.
is Mr. Richard Orendain for the Dam Water Level Report. Dito lang yan sa DOSTv Exclusive.
Maraming salamat Miss Jel at magandang umaga sa iyo at sa ating mga taga-subaybay ng DOSTv. Dam update po tayo dito sa mga binabantayan natin dams dito sa Luzon. Umpisan po natin sa Angat Dam. Sa kasalukuyan, ang elevation niya is 178.61. Bumaba pa rin siya ng 14 cm base po doon sa obserbasyon namin kahapon ng alas 6 hanggang alas 6 po ngayong umaga. So dito naman po sa Magat Dam, ang current elevation niya is 164.84 at bumaba pa rin siya ng 66 cm. Ito po ay isang buwan na po siyang bumababa. Simula po ito nung second week ng June at hanggang po sa ngayon patuloy pa rin yung mga pagbaba niya. Dahil po sa ngayon taniman na po, so kailangan po natin mag-supply ng tubig para sa irigasyon. Samantalang dito naman po sa Pantabangan Dam, ang current elevation niya is 184.64. Bumaba pa rin siya ng 31 cm base po doon sa obserbasyon natin kahapon ng alas 6 ng umaga hanggang sa ngayon. And then dito naman po sa San Roque Dam, current elevation niya is 229.9 meters. Bahagya po itong bumaba ng 11 cm base doon sa obserbasyon natin kahapon ng alas 6 ng umaga. And then yung flood advisory natin nung mga nakaraang araw, wala na po ng banta ng pagbaha doon po sa mga lugar na inisyuhan po natin ng flood advisory. So yan muna ang latest mula pa rin dito sa Pag-asa Flood Forecasting Center. Richard Orendain, nag-uulat.
Ano kaya mga bagong proyekto ang hatid ng DOST para sa mamamayang Pilipino? Alamin dito sa DOSTv Flash Report. Helping to overcome the challenges in agricultural production and food security, agriculture research specialists from DOST PNRI are developing better varieties of adlai or jobs tears, which may serve as a substitute to the country's staple food crops such as rice and corn. While just as rich in carbohydrates and protein, adlai is unfortunately not as well known as its cousin crops, except among the indigenous communities. In other Asian countries, adlai is also used to produce flour, coffee, tea, wine, beer, and vinegar, among other products. Adlai also has some medicinal properties that can help mitigate the symptoms of allergies, diabetes, and even cancer. Lastly, adlai is also known for its resilience in the face of extreme conditions such as droughts and typhoons. With the unique advantage of gamma radiation, PNRI has been working since 2013 to improve the agronomic traits of adlai by making mutant varieties that yield more grain and mature earlier, while also having shorter heights to make the crops more resistant to lodging during typhoons. Researchers from the PNRI Agriculture Research Section used the ginampay variety of adlai for mutation breeding in the Institute's experimental field, where the putative mutants are already in their third and fourth generations. The research and development studies currently show promising results as the putative mutant breeds yielded from 790 kilograms of grain per hectare to as much as 900 kilograms of grain per hectare, which is around 30 to 50% higher than the yield of average crop breeds. Aside from developing mutant varieties, PNRI also seeks to improve the fertilizer, soil nutrient, and water management practices for adlai. The PNRI researchers will continue to develop the adlai crops up to the 8th generation to complete the mutation breeding process. Two schools in Bataan province with no internet connection in their remote areas have been provided with groundbreaking science and technology research tools for their students, courtesy of the Department of Science and Technology or DOST. The research tool dubbed STAR Books, or Science and Technology Academic Research Based Openly Operated Kiosk, is the first digital science library in the Philippines. It contains tons of resources in text, audio, and video formats from local and international sources. Starbooks does not require internet connection and has a user-friendly interface. Its latest beneficiaries are two satellite campuses of the Bataan Peninsula State University, located in the third-class municipalities of Bagak and Abukay, where there are no landlines and internet connection. The Bagak campus, composed of 200 students, does not have a library for its elementary students. Its high school department has a library, but with limited resources. According to DOST's Provincial Science and Technology Director for Bataan, Rosalie V. Ona, it is DOST's aim to upgrade students' research resources and capabilities and improve their knowledge in science and math since these are among their Waterloo. It will also help strengthen the students' technology education and prevent the university from lagging behind in terms of tech learning. Star Books also contains books, magazines, journals, scientific and research papers, Britannica Ultimate Encyclopedia, disaster preparedness materials, interactive courseware, supplement materials for K-12 and others. In June 2015, Starbooks also earned the nod of the international community when it was awarded with the American Library Association Presidential Citation for Innovative International Library Projects. The Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, or PNRI, is mandated to undertake research and development activities in the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, to institute regulations on the said uses, and to carry out the enforcement of said regulations to protect the health and safety of radiation workers and the general public. In keeping up with the changing modern times, PNRI is making its technology more globally competitive in its benefits, more sustainable. What's in store for PNRI in the coming years? Panoorin po natin yan sa susunod na video.
The Philippines became a member state of the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, in 1958. The Philippines has been a solid and productive partner in the realization of the IAEA's Atoms for Peace program. At the center of this fruitful cooperation for more than half a century is the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, or PNRI, formerly the Philippine Atomic Energy Commission. PNRI is a research and development institute and the national nuclear regulatory body under the Department of Science and Technology. PNRI spearheads the development and applications of nuclear science and technology in agriculture, health, industry, and environment to address the country's needs. PNRI scientists are developing precision farming methods using radioisotopes and stable isotope tracers such as nitrogen-15. Precision farming methods are undertaken to determine the right amount and proper timing of fertilizer application at different growth stages of staple food crops such as rice and corn. Soil moisture neutron probe and other related techniques are being used to optimize irrigation scheduling, while carbon-13 and oxygen-18 isotopes are used to evaluate and assess the effectiveness of different irrigation technologies. Results show that better practices can increase fertilizer utilization up to 70%. Appropriate irrigation scheduling can improve crop water use efficiency and minimize losses by around 25%. These will serve as bases for updating the decades-old recommended levels of fertilizer and water inputs in agricultural production. The preliminary findings are being shared to the project's beneficiaries and stakeholders local government units in the nearby provinces and municipalities, and other farmer cooperators. PNRI scientists have developed plant growth promoters, or PGPs, from radiation-processed natural polymers such as carrageenan and chitosan. Results of initial pot experiments on mung bean and peanut showed that the PGPs from irradiated carrageenan and chitosan increased the crop yield by 200 to 300%. Field experiments are currently being conducted at Cagayan Valley Research Center in Isabela Province with promising results. Field testing on rice sprayed with PGPs resulted in plants showing no signs of rice tungro disease infection. The field test was conducted at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños in Laguna Province. Through radiation technology and mutation breeding, PNRI conducts studies on improving the quality of adlai. Adlai is a tall grain-bearing tropical plant from the same family as rice and corn, which grows abundantly in the country and may also serve as an alternative staple food. Results of PNRI studies show that the plant height of irradiated adlai decreased by up to 1 meter, making them more resistant to lodging caused by strong winds and typhoons. Gamma irradiation can also be used to control the population of various pests that damage agricultural crops and serve as carriers of viruses and diseases. These problems are even more prevalent in tropical countries such as the Philippines. PNRI scientists previously used the sterile insect technique, or SIT, against fruit flies that infest export fruits like mangoes. The Institute later expanded its applications to help mitigate the perennial dengue problem in the Philippines. A stock colony of Aedes aegypti was established at the PNRI laboratory as a source of test insects for various experimental tests, leading to the development of SIT against the dengue mosquito vector. Around 39 nuclear medicine facilities in the Philippines are licensed by PNRI. These facilities use technetium-99m and other radioisotopes for diagnosis of the state of health of various human organs and treatment of certain diseases. Through its newly established technetium-99m generator facility, PNRI paves the way for cheaper and more available supplies of radiopharmaceuticals in the country. This facility was established with IAEA technical assistance. The local production of technetium-99m will save the medical industry up to around 20% of the average cost for imported technetium radiopharmaceuticals. PNRI has been recently licensed by the Food and Drug Administration to operate the facility. Proposals are also being considered to make technetium-99m available at subsidized costs to government hospitals and charity patients. Medical cyclotron facilities enable the local production of medical isotopes which serve as tracers in positron emission tomography, or PET imaging. PET imaging is used to diagnose various oncological, neurological, and cardiovascular diseases. The first medical cyclotron in the country was set up in 2001 at St. Luke's Medical Center as an in-house facility. With technical assistance from the IAEA, PNRI coordinated a task force composed of private and government sectors to set up the second medical cyclotron facility in the Philippines. The cyclotron was recently established by the private sector in cooperation with the National Kidney and Transplant Institute. The centralized medical cyclotron facility will allow PET-CT imaging to be more accessible to several hospitals and can even halve the cost of these procedures. This facility will further modernize nuclear medicine in the country. Aside from surgery and chemotherapy, radiotherapy is another method for treating cancer through the application of ionizing radiation. PNRI monitors about 36 radiotherapy hospitals and medical centers in the Philippines to maintain the required level of safety and security according to IAEA standards. The nuclear medicine and radiotherapy professionals, through their respective professional societies, are participating in the IAEA Quantum and Quattro projects to enhance quality of procedures and patient care and ultimately nuclear safety. Quantum stands for Quality Assurance in Nuclear Medicine, while Quattro is Quality Assurance Team for Radiation Oncology. Harmful algal blooms, also known as red tide, has always caused damage to the health and business of fishing communities and consumers alike, a problem that makes an archipelago such as the Philippines especially vulnerable. In 2005 and in 2010, IAEA designated the PNRI as a collaborating center in harmful algal bloom studies. The Institute engaged in research and development on receptor binding assay, or RBA, which has been approved by the Association of Official Analytical Chemists International in 2011 as the analytical tool for paralytic shellfish poisoning. The PNRI is transferring the RBA technology to the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources as an alternative to mouse bioassay. In cooperation with the University of the Philippines Marine Science Institute, PNRI currently undertakes various researches on harmful algal blooms, shares its expertise, and accepts trainees from other IAEA member states. Stable isotope ratio mass spectrometry is used for analyzing the geographic and botanical origin of samples, as well as the methods and mechanisms used for their production. In 2008, PNRI established its own isotope ratio mass spectrometer, or IRMS laboratory. The IRMS laboratory facilitates many of PNRI's environmental research involving water resources and drainage basin studies, and for the precision farming project to measure fertilizer and water uptake by plants. The IRMS facility is also used for the analysis of food and other samples to determine their provenance or origin. PNRI's IRMS facility made isotope analytical services cheaper and more accessible to local researchers. The PNRI and the Bureau of Soils and Water Management, or BSWM, used the stable isotope technique to trace the sources of pollutants entering the Manila Bay from the Pampanga River Basin. The mixing models reveal that domestic and cropland sources contributed dominantly in the pollution along the Pampanga River Basin leading to Manila Bay. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources is again contracting PNRI and BSWM to replicate the study with the 3 other river basins discharging into the bay to get a complete picture of the pollution loading in the Manila Bay. The PNRI has been using radiation from the Cobalt-60 facility since the late 1980s with successful results. The Cobalt-60 irradiation facility has been used in the sterilization of medical devices, packaging materials and pharmaceuticals, decontamination of cosmetic raw materials, spices, dehydrated vegetables and herbal products, extension of shelf life of food, and quarantine treatment of fruits and vegetables. The present multi-purpose irradiation facility is now being used on a semi-commercial scale. The new 2.5 MeV electron beam facility at PNRI is capable of delivering higher dose rates, thus widening the applications of radiation processing, such as radiation cross-linking and polymer grafting. The establishment of the electron beam facility in the Philippines received financial support from the IAEA and the Japanese and U.S. governments under the Peaceful Utilization Initiative. The PNRI received counterpart funds from the Department of Science and Technology, Grants in Aid, and the national government for the facility. To help enhance the export competitiveness of Philippine super mangoes, PNRI has developed a quarantine treatment using gamma irradiation against the mango pulp weevil. Based on PNRI's research studies, a minimum radiation dose of 165 gray is enough to make the adult mango weevil sterile, providing sufficient quarantine security for the Philippine mangoes. The quarantine treatment was already published as a final rule in the United States Federal Register in October 2014. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has also recently expanded the weevil-free areas in the country beyond Guimaras Island, finally allowing more Philippine mango exports to enter the United States. In collaboration with the Bureau of Plant Industry, PNRI will also play a major role in implementing the quarantine treatment through the upgrading of its semi-commercial irradiation facility. As the national nuclear regulatory body, the PNRI formulates rules and regulations on the safety and security of atomic energy facilities and radioactive materials. The PNRI grants licenses to industrial, commercial, medical, educational, and training sectors for authorization to use, possess, produce, store, sell, transport, or import radioactive materials. The Philippines continues to participate in the international effort to address nuclear security and prevent nuclear terrorism under the Global Threat Reduction Initiative and Megaports Initiative. In support of the Megaports Initiative, radiation portal monitor systems were installed at the ports of Manila and Cebu to detect, deter, and prevent illicit trafficking of nuclear and other radioactive materials. The monitoring systems were donated through a memorandum of intent between the U.S. and the Philippine governments under the Megaports Initiative of the U.S. Department of Energy. To ensure sustainability, the European Union is donating a radiation portal monitor and other equipment for training of port operators and Bureau of Customs personnel. PNRI operates the only centralized radioactive waste management facility for low-level radioactive wastes in the country. This provides for the treatment and temporary storage of immobilized, disused radioactive sources and other waste packages for interim storage. A project on conditioning spent high-activity radioactive sources was conducted in cooperation with the South African Nuclear Energy Corporation and the IAEA. This project was undertaken to ensure safe and secure management of these sources in a long-term storage container, reducing radiation levels at the surface and eliminating the risk of overexposure and possible covert action. PNRI is evaluating a site for the final disposal of low and intermediate level wastes. The site evaluation is being undertaken with other government agencies. The Institute envisions to co-locate a near-surface radioactive waste facility with the IAEA recommended BOST facility for disused sources. The PNRI Nuclear Training Center conducts training courses, seminars, and workshops for various groups and sectors on capability building in the field of nuclear science and technology. The training courses tackle on the applications of nuclear S&T and on radiation and nuclear safety. Laboratories and facilities of the different research units in PNRI are made available to the trainees, in addition to arrangements made with other private companies, government agencies, universities, and hospitals. PNRI also conducts training courses on non-destructive testing in cooperation with the Philippine Society for Non-Destructive Testing. The PNRI Nuclear Training Center has been accredited by Lufthansa Technique Philippines as an NDT training service provider per European standard EN 4179. The IAEA has selected the Philippines as one of the pilot countries in launching an outreach program on nuclear science and technology for secondary schools. This project is being undertaken through the collaboration of the PNRI and the Quezon City Division of City Schools of the Department of Education. The IAEA develops a compendium of resources and activities for use by high school teachers and students. The compendium will be tailored to the flow of DepEd's K-12 basic education curriculum, such that it may touch on the basics of nuclear science and its applications. Like the atom that is filled with great energy and potential, the future prospects of nuclear science and technology in the Philippines remain bright as day as the country continues to cooperate with the IAEA through its contributions in agriculture, industry, health and medicine, environmental protection, nuclear safety, and safeguards and security. It is PNRI's mandate to continue serving as the beacon for the country as it moves forward with nuclear science and technology.
Eto na mga ka-forever, emote time na naman, drama kung drama. Kahit maulan man o maaraw sa labas, hindi mapipigilan ang ating mga ka-online friends sa kanilang mga hugot panahon. Ano kaya ang mga latest na tweets, status at updates nila? Alamin dito sa What's the Weather With You. Mula kay Ding Montemar, sabi niya, kung aaraw ngayon at uulan bukas, bakit di pa tayo magsama para habang panahon kitang makapiling? Naks! O, diba? Kilig. Yan. Kinikilig ako, Kuya Ding. Parang ramdam na ramdam ko yung kanyang pagka-in love, di ba? Para nakahanap ka na ng forever. If you feel na siya na nga, ang tunay na ka-forever mo, go, go, go lang, di ba? Pagbutihin mo, pero hindi yan sa pangsimula lang. Seryosohin dapat at alagaan ang pagmamahal. Yan. Okay? Meron naman tayo susunod. Mula kay Jonas de la Cruz, Hi, Jonas! Ayan, familiar si Jonas Siyempre, di ba, miss na miss ka na namin dito, Jonas. Pero sabi ni Jonas, ang bagyo parang pag-ibig lang. Bakit pa na-imbento kung makakasakit lang din naman? Oy, Jonas, bakit naman ganyan? Di ba? Siyempre, alam mo naman na ang pag-ibig, masaya yan. Kahit na umiiyak ka dahil sa pagmamahal, di ba? You will come out stronger, di ba? Love make us stronger, ika nga. Love make us alive, yan ang lagi mong tatandaan. Ayan, mga ka-forever, ilan lamang po yan sa mga hugot panahon na aming nakalap sa Facebook at Twitter. Bukas, mas masaya at mas exciting. Kaya naman, kung may mga hugot panahon pa kayo dyan, i-post lang sa FB or mag-tweet na mga greatest emote moments ninyo sa hashtag hugot panahon. At kung feel nyo na rin mag-level up, i-go nyo na rin. Mapatulaman yan, sayaw o kanta, i-post nyo na yan at ilabas nyo na at ibuhos ang inyong mga feelings. Mahalin ninyo, next time kayo na ang next na mai-feature namin dito. The MIRDC or Metals Industry Research and Development Center has developed a CNC plasma cutter machine, a high-pressure air-driven cutting system which produces high-temperature plasma capable of cutting ferrous and limited non-ferrous materials. Dahil sa technology na ito, accuracy, efficiency, and quality in metal cutting are achieved because of its automated cutting ability. Let's take a look sa susunod na video.
Metal products have become part of the everyday life. Ornamental irons, signs and letterings, intricate art disc designs, and many more. These crafts require skill, expertise, and imagination to create, but they can also be tedious to produce one by hand. The foreign market introduced the computer numerical control or the CNC plasma cutter to the world to bring mass production of the metal crafts. It has entered into the landscape of the Philippine metal industry. Recently, the Philippine Department of Science and Technology Metal Industry Research and Development Center, or DOSTv, successfully produced a locally made CNC plasma cutter.
The machine building project is a promotion of the local machine building capability of the local industry. We're trying to promote that sophisticated machines such as CNC plasma cutter machine can already be found in the local industry. As part of the project, we went through a series of investigation, benchmarking from different types or brands existing in the foreign market. We benchmarked different sheet metal fabrication shop using foreign CNC plasma cutter machine.
From simple designs to intricate curves, the CNC plasma cutter produces smooth cut of metals. It ensures precision and refined artistry.
Having to acquire a CNC plasma cutting machine is a good investment. This machine will bring you higher productivity and versatility in your cutting operation, and as well as safety for your operators.
Instead of holding the torch and exposing workers to extreme heat, operators of the CNC plasma cutter hold the controller. This ensures the operator's safety while crafting a masterpiece.
The development of the CNC plasma cutter machine shows that Filipinos are at par with neighboring countries. We Filipinos, we no longer need to import such machines. It is better to patronize our own machines in order to help our economy also, and also help our fellow men.
The Filipino dares to believe it can be done for every metal craft produced. A revelation of art and skill work hand in hand. And with a locally produced CNC plasma cutter, a bigger accomplishment has been achieved. Ensuring greater productivity, quality, and safety from the DOST to the world.
Panoorin po nating muli kung paano guminhawa ang buhay ng isang komunidad na malapit sa Taal Lake sa tulong ng mga young inventors, benevolent organizations, and of course ng DOST dito sa aming docu Ang Biyaya.
Yung pagsikat pa lang ng araw ay kita mo na yung may saya, liwanag na nagtataglay na may darating pang bukas para sa lahat ng mga isda. Mahirap ang buhay. Wala kang alam na pagkukunan. Kung hindi ka maalam sa livelihood, hindi mo alam kung wala ka ding alam na trabaho para isurvive mo yung pamilya mo. Mahirap kung sa pangingisda ka lang aasa. Kasi dumadating yung panahon na piraso lang. Mga 10 hanggang 15 piraso ang huli ng isang mangingisda. Lugi ka pa sa gasolina.
Nakita namin yung mga issues ng mangingisda na pag walang huli, walang kita. So nakita namin lalo na nung bumagyo, no, when Typhoon Glenda hit, there was no electricity for 3 weeks. Halos natanggal yung bubong ng center namin. Walang tubig for 3 weeks. No? And yung mga mangingisda, yung mga huling isda na pinatuyo, lahat na wala. So nakita namin yung opportunity then for how can we really actually help the maliliit na mangingisda. When we established the center in 2011, our intention was to raise awareness about conservation for Taal Lake. Kasi the water quality of Taal Lake is, we don't know yet if it's still Class B at that time. When we say Class B, it should be good for recreation and other water sports activity. And we want it to be clean. We want it to be Class B. So we did a lot of conservation work. We had a lot of focus group discussions also para malaman namin ano ba yung mga ginagawa ng mga taong activities sa tubig, and then ano yung visions din nila for the lake. And nakita namin na lahat gusto maging malinis at maayos yung lake. So we said, why don't we create not just conservation initiatives, no, but let's also involve people with local economic development. And so that's when we realized na hindi lang dapat conservation issues yung dinadala, kundi pati livelihood din nung community.
Yung thesis kasi sa topic pa lang, mahirapan ka na. So nakailang pasa kami ng topic noon. Tapos ayun nga, so nung nagpunta kami sa advisor namin, sabi ng advisor namin, why not to try na magtanong kayo sa DOST na makahanap sila ng project na baka pwedeng i-turn over nyo. So nagpunta po kami ng DOST.
Ang amin lang tulong sa kanila is mag-isip kung ano yung magandang proposal, thesis proposal nila na makakatulong sa mga ating SMEs o kung saan mang proyekto na gumagamit ng mga equipment o kung ano mang mga devices.
Baka po meron kayong project na pwedeng turn over sa amin. And then, nung una sabi niya, parang wala, di ba? Sabi niya. Parang wala daw. Kasi ang madami daw sa kanila ngayong project is for mechanical. And then, chinek niya agad yung email niya. And then, at that moment, na-receive niya yung email ni Sir Arvel Malubag na galing sa Pusod. Na humihingi sila ng parang pwedeng design or kung sino pwedeng gumawa ng project na solar powered.
Batangas State University students came to Pusod. Nag-iisip sila kung ano yung pwede nilang itulong sa community ng mga mangingisda. At very interested sila sa ginagawa ng Pusod. Excited din sila, no, na makipag-partner sa community. So, doon namin nakita na yung partnership talaga ay maraming potentials.
Nung una, yung BSU student, para sa kanilang solar dryer. Ilang beses na kasing may dumating. Kaso, pag kulang yung capacity ng budget nila, hindi talaga matuloy-tuloy.
So, nag-usap kami kasama yung KMMLT at naghanap kami ng funding source para dun sa idea na nabuo naming lahat.
Pagising ko pa lang mga bandang 4 a.m., ihahanda mo na yung, siyempre dapat ikaw nakapagkape ka na bago ka pumunta ng lawa. Tapos, ihahanda mo na yung gasolina, yung flashlight, daladala mo siya pagbaba, daladala mo na yung planggana, na kung saan siya mong lalagyan ng mga huli. Pagdating mo sa bangka, ibababa mo yung bangka. Tapos, pagkababa mo, pupunta ka dun sa parte na iyong pinagladladan o pinagtangadan ng lambat. Diyan lang po sa may laot ng laot. Marami pong biya diyan, lalo na po pag panahon. Ay, napakahirap ng buhay ng isang mangingisda na bago ka makahango ay talagang daig mo pa yung ikaw ay lahat ng pagod mo ay nandoon. Pero pagka naalis yung pagod at hirap mo, pag marami kang huli, parang yung equivalent ng huli sa pagod mo ay wala ang pagod mo, basta maraming huli. Yung kaya mong isurvive yung pangangailangan ng mga bata, yung lahat ng gastusin. Pag nahuli po yon, napakadami pong proseso. Yun po ay isa-isang tatanggalin dito sa net. Tapos saka pa yun bibiyakin. Tapos isa-isa pong aalsan. Pag nabiyak po yan, isa-isang aalsan ng bituka. Pagkatapos noon, naalis ang bituka, ilang beses mo siyang huhugasan. Tapos bababad mo sa normal na tubig kung tamtamang tubig at alat lamang. Yun lang ang ingredients ng biya. Kapag nalagyan na yun ng nakailang minuto na sa asin na may tubig, ay saka po yun ibibilad ng isa-isa. Isa-isa pa pong ibibilad doon sa, kita po yun yung lambat. Isa-isa po yung ibibilad doon. Mga 8 hours. Pinakamatagal na ang 8 hours pag ang araw ay continuous na mainit, 8 hours, positibo na tuyo na. Pero pagka umuulan, hindi natutuyo yun.
So, solar-powered fish dryer, sinusupplyan siya ng solar power, 2,000 watts. So, nag-harness siya ng energy from the sun. Tapos yung energy na yon, i-convert niya into electricity. Kasi yung napoproduce na energy ng isang solar panel is in DC form. So, kailangan pa natin siyang i-convert into AC para magamit natin yung mga typical nating loading, halimbawa yung heater, naka-AC form kasi siya. So, yung napoproduce natin AC, so kailangan mo pa siyang i-convert into AC. So, we need inverter na siya yung kapag pumasok na yung electricity from the battery, i-convert na niya agad into AC para magamit siya ng load. And then, meron kami na 8 na battery kung saan doon namin ini-store lahat ng nakukuha naming energy. Yung battery, pwede siyang naka-still lang doon habang may time kasi na sobrang intense ng sunlight. So, pwede yung sunlight directly na kaagad na nagsusupply doon sa load. Which is, yung sunlight, halimbawa, mag-harness siya ng 1,500 watts. I-convert niya lang yon into AC, pwede na siya agad magamit nung mismong cabinet, yung dryer mismo. So, ganon. Kapag naman tulad ganito, yung medyo makulimlim, yung battery naman, yung nagsusupply dun sa mismong dryer, Kasi siya yung, nakastore sa kanya yung energy eh. So kahit gaano kaliit na ang ma-harness na power nun, i-store niya yun. Tapos if ever na magkulang na yung kanyang capacity para ma-store mo, halimbawa continuous mong ginagamit yung dryer and then yung battery mo halos 50% depth of charge na, and then wala ka masyadong light, pwede mo siyang automatic gamitin yung on-grid na power. So, ibig sabihin, pwede mong i-convert yung solar-powered into utility-powered. So, merong ganong technical part yung thesis namin, na i-off mo lang yung solar, then i-on mo yung utility.
Kasi sa biya, wala ka na makikita na yung patsang-patsang na kita mo yung dumi ng langaw o bangyo. Wala ka makikita. Talagang kita mo yung talagang normal na tuyo na walang damage yung isda. Yung traditional, siyempre pag mahangin, maraming gabok. Tapos yung langaw, siyempre hindi mo maiiwasan na, hindi mo mababantayan naman yung binilad na lagi mong aalsa ng langaw. Tapos pag yun naman ay nasa solar dryer na, wala ka nang babantayan na talagang pag inilatag mo doon isa-isa, antayan mo na lang yung oras na tuyo na siya, na pwede mo na siyang hanguin.
So ngayon, kung dati inaabot yun ng around 2 to 3 days bago matuyo, lalo na kung yung panahon is makulimlim, ngayon, inaabot na lang siya ng 3 to 4 hours.
So, pagdadry.
Sa pagdadry.
So, yung dryer namin, pwede siyang capacity niya is 15 kilos ng raw fish. And then, once na na-dry siya, pwede siyang umabot ng 3 kilos of dried biya.
Nung na-design na yung fish dryer at nabuo na yung prototype, no, tinest namin yon several times ng isda, binitad na isda, yung mga isda, nagbitad sila ng isda, tapos nilagay namin doon. At nakita namin na yung produce, no, yung product from the fish dryer, ay food grade talaga. At pinatest ito, no, food test ito, tapos tiningnan yung quality. And maganda talaga yung quality and food grade. And people are willing to pay a premium to buy the product.
Yung food nutrients nga, safe ka talaga. Yung isda kasi iba ang pagkatuyo ng isda dun sa dryer kaysa sa normal na traditional na ginagawa ng mangingisda. Malaki yung income. Yung income ba halos ay may ibenta mo kasi pagka tinanong ng bumibili saan tuyo yan, solar ba o yung traditional. Kasi iba yung presyo ng nasa solar, iba yung presyo ng traditional. Una po, nagpapasalamat ako sa lahat ng mga ahensya na tumulong sa amin sa kilusan ng maliliit na mga isda sa lawan ng Taal, lalo-lalo na sa DOST, BSU, Pusod, local government, na talagang handang tumulong sa mga mangingisda para maiangat ang buhay ng isang mahirap, para maranasan naman nila yung buhay na talagang ikaw ay nasa level na hindi ka na masasabi na walang mahirap dito sa Pilipinas.
Isa naman kasi ang layunin, hindi ka tumulong. Ikalawa, kung susuluhin mo yung cost ng isang project, malakas ang pag-i-implement ng isang project kung sama-sama o marami ang magkakaisa para ito ay ibigay sa mga tao.
Yung feeling na parang simpleng thesis namin magiging ganon. Parang syempre nakakagulat, di ba?
And nakita namin talaga yung value ng science in the work that we do. That when we are backed up with real science and true science, then we can manage and decide better than when we have none.
Talagang siyensya ang pag-asa.
Oo, sensya talaga. Tsaka yung mga na didevelop nila, hindi lang hindi lang iilan, kundi lahat na nakikinabang.
The role of DOST and the science universities will help us determine the future kasi it will help us decide better, it will help us solve problems faster, it will make us make use of resources more efficiently. So we really feel that science is important.
Mabuhay po ang DOST at ang lahat ng tumulong para mabuo ang proyekto na inyong napanood. At samantala, bago kami tuluyang magtapos, inaaninyahan namin kayong lahat na makibahagi sa gaganaping selebrasyon ng NSTW or National Science and Technology Week on July 25 to 29. Admission is free po yan mga ka-forever na gaganapin sa 4 different science communities. Meron sa Bicutan, sa Quezon City, Manila at Los Baños. At para sa karagdagang impormasyon, mag-login lawang sa www.nstw.gov.ph. Ayan, magkita-kita po tayo dyan on July 25 to 29. And that's it mga ka-forever. Kay bilis ng oras, tapos na naman ang isang episode natin. Pero hindi natatapos ang forever. Kaya bukas, samahan niyo ulit kami from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Dito lang sa www.dostv.ph. You can also visit our Instagram page, DOSTVPH, and our Facebook page, facebook.com/DOSTVPH. Kaya click na at mag-login para lagi tayong magkasama. Dahil weather lang ang laging nandyan, tag-araw man o tag-ulan, hindi nang iiwan kahit sino ka man. Kami ang DOSTV na laging nandyan, may bagyo man, kulog o kidlat, hindi namin kayo iiwan. Dahil laging tandaan, weather is forever.